Chris with Overcome One Studios. It's going to be a short episode of My Truth Podcast. Glad to see you, glad to join me. Remember, all information or any personal experiences I give you, relate to you in this podcast is just my personal experience. I'm not a licensed therapist, counselor. I work in the field. I'm not licensed, so always consult your primary caregiver, a doctor, a therapist, whatever. But I wanted to kind of do like a continuation on. Excuse me. This is kind of I'm in my car on my podcast that I did yesterday of abandonment and my abandonment issues and how I was abandoned due to how I was raised in foster homes and many foster homes and all that. I didn't really have stability in my life. I thought of something and I wanted to kind of continue with this. I thought about it yesterday after the podcast, and for those of us who have experienced abandonment, and like I'm saying, like I said before, this is in reference to, like, you might have been in relationships, person might have been infidelity, or it might have been maybe parental, where your parents abandoned you at a young age, or as an adult in relationships. I don't mean abandonment in terms of somebody passing away, because that's still a form of abandonment, but that's someone passing away and you're like, that's not intentional, and things happen, life happens, and that might not, that person, I'm assuming that, I would assume they wouldn't, nobody wants to intentionally just die and leave you, leave your life like that, in that way. But still, that can cause abandonment. I mean in relationships as as a child, and adult. So one thing I thought about was that if that person thought it enough to abandon you as a human being, you got to also understand that they didn't deserve you in the first place. Remember, it's not your fault. They maybe saw, like the old saying, the grass was greener on the other side of the fence. They saw something else that they felt that what they were involved in relationship-wise, they could do better. It was something better. That has nothing to do with you. Again, if they felt that way in the relationship, and even as a child, your parents or your caregiver abandoned you, they didn't deserve you. And don't ever feel bad about it. Try not to feel, I don't want to say what you can't do, because I don't want to determine someone's feelings. Because we all feel differently, and we all experience trauma, or we have different experiences, and we adjust, or we emotionally are affected in different ways, and we handle it different. So I don't want to say don't do this, don't do that. What I want to say is think highly of yourself enough to know that you were placed on this planet for a purpose, and everybody doesn't know your purpose, nor does other people always care about your purpose. I tell my story about I would tell certain people my story of being abused and so forth, or give them my background, and it really didn't care, it didn't bother them. And I think I always look for adulation or some type of praise from someone, or some type of sympathy, because I felt I was owed that, because how I was abandoned, how I was treated. Somebody owed me something. But my wife always told me, this life don't owe you a doggone thing, or people don't, and this life don't owe you nothing. I try to live by the standard, all I owe people is love, is to love them. That's all I try to owe. And so that's how I live my life in that way. And in reference to abandonment issues, again, going back to that, if that person had the moxie and the boldness, or the balls enough, or the galls enough to leave a good situation, to go chase after, like chase something imaginary, or they thought that was better. Now when I say this, some relationships people are in, and I'm kind of reverting back from relationships, childhood, parent, different phases, different spectrums of relationship, but in reference to, let's just say, an adult relationship between a spouse or a husband and wife, or girlfriend, boyfriend, or significant other, however, if that person decides to dip off or go off, it's not you. It's not you. You're a great person. You're special in who you are. And like I say, you were created for a purpose. They just couldn't handle it. And so I know for myself, I took on this stigma within myself. I wrestled with this years of blame, because one thing about abandonment issues is you feel insignificant. You feel you're unstable mentally. You feel you clingy to people. People that seem like they have a little higher status than you cling to that person, or you're looking for some type of comfort. You don't feel right. You feel a little around people. You always feel uneasy around people, nervous. Sometimes, I'm not saying this is all the case, but I know for me that's how it was. And you just don't feel good internally, mentally. And low self-esteem is a major part of that too. Because you think about it, as a child, you get abandonment issues as a child. You're abandoned at 2, 3, 4 years old, 5, 6, young adult, whatever. At those moments in your life, those are your cognitive abilities are developing, your social abilities are developing, your physical, psychosocial abilities are developing. And so any disruption in how those abilities are in growth any disruption, it can cause a malfunction in later years of your life, or as you grow into in age and older. And so if you had an issue in your home where you were abandoned, you suffered abandonment at a young age, and let me tell you something, you damn well gonna have some problems when you get older, because it's gonna affect the upper echelon or upper level of your maturity as a human being. I always talk about, when I work with certain families, it's called called Maslow's development pattern or something like that. But this psychiatrist who shows how people mature and how the childhood is affected. If they had a traumatic childhood, how that can affect the growth of a person. And so, if you had a problem with instability in the home, if there was nothing ever stable, you moved around, or you never felt comfortable in your home, or you were in your home, there was always poverty, or lack of nourishment, and so forth, that can affect the next level of your life in growth. And it's almost like a chain reaction. So if you suffered from abandonment issues as a young child, you're definitely going to have, for me, it definitely affected my relationships, with other people, especially my marriage. But, I want to just share it, man. I guess my main objective of this podcast is just to reiterate that you are not the problem. We are not the problem who got abandoned. It wasn't our fault. And, that person just did not deserve us. And remember I told you that my first foster mother abandoned me verbally and said she didn't want me. I look back in retrospect, and I say to myself, that was really a good thing for me, because had she took me home that night, maybe she would have murdered me. She might have just lost all control, and just the abuse could have gotten out of control. So that might have been his way of sparing my life. So some situations, man, we look at it as abandonment, and it does hurt, man. It's painful to not be wanted. When I told you, all I ever wanted was to be loved. All we want on this planet is just to be loved, and to find that person that we can have transparency with, and we can love them, they can love us back. That's what we look for in life. And it hurts when we don't get those things we need. But you know, for me, it's like I said, you know, it's been a growing experience, and I look back and I marvel at where I'm at now, and how the abandonment changed my life in many different ways. I went through many cycles of just aggression and anger, because I as a child, a young kid, I was always angry, and I was angry at I don't know who. I didn't know who to point the anger to. I was just angry, man. And I could be around, and this was like from childhood to adulthood, and I could be around a lot of people and still feel lonely. I can be out with my family and be lonely. But again, when you miss those certain basic functions of life, the basic necessities of life, Maslow calls them, it's like I think it was a child psychologist or psychiatrist, the basic needs. We have certain basic needs, and you know, when we don't have the basic needs of a stable home life as a child, when you don't have the basic needs of nourishment, food, water, shelter, and so forth, it affects the other areas in your life. And so we can't go back and go replace that, but what we can do is we can fix it ourselves. And what I've also learned is I stopped trying to get everybody to fix my problems. I stopped trying to get everyone to repent for other people's sins they put on me. I stopped trying to plead my case and show everyone how bad I had it, or try to petition my own innocence as a child to people as I got old, you know, trying to plead and get people to understand, because people just, hey, they have their own problems, man. We're human, man, and we are faulty and we have issues, and everyone doesn't have time to deal with Chris and what he's going through. So I had to deal with Chris and what he's going through. I had to go back and fix my life. I had to repair my own life, and writing that book that I have coming out, that was a major part of my own therapy, of giving myself therapy, or, you know, counseling in that respect of healing. It was a form of healing, because I was able to write out my pain and not hide it any longer, not conceal it, and not talk about it, because for years I just was mute. I didn't talk about my pain. And so even this is a big step for me, because I'm an introverted person, I'm a private person, but I feel that whatever you go through in life, especially if it's trauma, man, especially if you have PTSD, you have depression, I'm not saying everyone, but whatever you go through in life, take a bad situation, and I'm gonna say it this way, and flip it, make it positive. Take what they hurt you, how they traumatize you, how they molested you, how they beat you or abuse you, how they talked about you, how they destroyed your character, how they assassinated your character, how they may have hurt you, embarrassed you. Take that, and don't wait for anyone to fix that, because they're not going to do. Some people are too narcissistic and have too much pride to go back and say, I apologize for what I did. If you're looking for that, it's not going to happen. And if it did happen to you, that's great. But it never happened to me. That woman, those people that abused me, I never got an apology. I never was sought out, you know, and comforted, and you know, because really I'm a kind of easygoing guy. I'll forgive you, and you could hurt me till the wheels come off. But I something in me, I think I get it from my mom, where I just forgive you, man. And not being passive, it's not passive aggressive, but I'm a type of person, I don't like to hold grudges. But I wasted too much time looking for that adulation, looking for that respect. And you got to respect yourself. You got to respect yourself to say, doggone, yes, I did. I have abandonment issues. People left me. People who I thought was on my side, they left me. People who I thought cared for me, who I looked up to, they left me. They abandoned me. But you know what? I'm not going to abandon myself. because I love myself too much. So I think out of abandonment, one thing is repair yourself. Don't look for anybody else to do it for you. If people come along and they help you and they along the way and they can support that, that's fine. But you be the catalyst. You be the objective of your healing. You know, write it in a journal. Do a podcast. Connect with other people that has had issues in that fashion. Talk to a therapist. Talk to a counselor. Heal yourself, man, because it may not never happen if you're looking for that person who hurt you to come back and heal you. And if you're waiting, it hurts. It even brings more pain because of this waiting period. You know, this longing, and you may not never get it. You may not never get it. So again, you know, I might have a part 3 because there's so much I want to talk about when it comes to abandonment. But man, listen, you were not a mistake. You might have been abandoned at the age, at an infancy stage. You might have been abandoned, maybe your parents abandoned you and maybe they didn't try. They couldn't, they were too young to have you and they had to give you up for adoption, like my case. And maybe we don't know. Sometimes you don't know. But I would say that, again, you are not a mistake. You are special, man. And I would love to meet you. And I hope that these podcasts are inspiring and bring empowerment, because I know I don't have it all. I'm not I struggle every day with depression, every day with PTSD, with anxiety. But guess what? I'm here. And the person that abandoned me probably never would have thought that I would be here today, 30, 40 something years later, at this point in my life. And certain things happen to you and they could be a stepping stone for you. They can push you to the next level of life where I say God, I don't know how you say it, but God may want you to be, and can take that experience you had, which may have been negative, and turn it around or change that and look at it like, you know what? I always say it like this in reference to that. I, coming into this, on this planet, being birthed, I was given a bad hand at the deck on the card. If I was playing cards or something like that, I was given a bad hand, but I took that bad hand and I made it work for me. And that's what I'm doing. Take your life, however you came on this planet, however trauma, whatever, take it and you play those cards to the best of your ability and you win, because you can win. I'm a living proof that you can win. Do I feel like a winner every day? Heck no. Do I try to aspire to win? Yes. I try every day. Every day. So again, just because they abandon you doesn't mean that's the title or banner of your life. That's not the stigma that you should live by, because you're very special, man. And you have so many gifts and talents that the world is waiting to hear, to listen, to read about. I'm pretty sure that the Father, God, will send someone in your life who will love you like you want to be loved, who will respect you like you should be respected, who will treat you with the highest adulation, with the highest and standard of life. There's always someone out there for you, whether we're talking about relationships or marriage, significant other, whether we're talking about even parents for those kids who are adopted or who has been in foster homes like myself, foster care. There are parents that are good parents that God has out, that they are for you, that's going to love you and they're going to take care of you and they're going to treat you like a freaking human being, because that person who abandoned you didn't know what they had. And I almost feel sorry for them. To a small part of me for it. I know in my case, I almost feel a little sorry for the people that abandoned me, because they don't know what they had. They don't know what they could accomplish. They don't, with me, us together. They don't know how I could have impacted their life. They don't know how God sent me in their life to better their life. They didn't know. And most people around you don't know who you are. They don't know how great you are and the greatness that you have, and who you are and where you're going. And like I said, most people don't care, but you have to care. So again, thanks for listening again. I know I'm always running my mouth. This is My Truth Podcast. Stay hungry. Stay positive. Stay being a winner. And, if no one else will say it, I believe in you. I believe in you. If you're looking at me right now, I truly believe in you. You abandoned, I was abandoned. Guess what? We're able to look at each other now and say, man, what happened to me didn't destroy me. And my abandonment issues, I'm not going to take it out on everyone. Because I'm going to tell you, I have 4 children. I would never abandon my children, nor abandon my wife. I would not be, I will not subjugate my family to what was done to me, because I value. And people that abandon other people, it shows there's they don't have value in that person. They don't value, and they probably don't even value themselves. But again, thanks a lot. I'm not going to go on another rant. All right, peace out.